Hi, I'm Megan Shigo, and I've been a licensed realtor since 1998. I've sold over 1,000 homes, and I'm here today to help you have your best buying or selling experience. Hey everybody, it is Mondays with Megan. I'm Megan, and it's Monday, and here we go. Here's some information. Now, if you've looked at houses in the last 2 years, you know that it is really hard to communicate with agents that are the listing agents when you're the buyer or the buyer's agent. It is super frustrating because you've spent your time and your energy putting together an offer and you can't even seem to get a response. I had this happen a couple of times in the last year, and I'm not super annoying when I submit an offer. I just like to have some basic communication. And one house, I submitted an offer about $156,000 more than the list price. I didn't get even a return email until I had to contact them a couple more times. And how hard is it really to return an email? So I want to tell you a little story. It is story time today on Mondays with Megan, and here we go. I have been in the business, this is my 24th year, and back in 2008, there was a great recession. It was a terrible time, and I had to lay off all of my people. I had to do it on my own, and it was just awful because on my own, I am not nearly as good as I am with all of the help that I have. So I love them and appreciate them very much, but I was on my own, and nobody could sell a house. I mean, all the houses were underwater. People had bought houses making minimum wage and having, a $4,500 a month house payment. It was a mess. So finally, after struggling for about a year with not much business to be had, I wanted to stay in business and pay for my house and everything. So I had to figure out how I could get listings that were bank repo listings. And I really didn't have any experience with that because when I started in the industry, it was 1998, and that part was sort of phasing out. I did some short sales and some renegotiations and that sort of thing, but I really hadn't worked for the banks. I'd worked for people. And so I didn't have any experience, and nobody wanted to help me because everybody was dying. They were out of work, and it was a real problem. So there's nobody helpful, didn't know what in the hell I was doing. And so I just started contacting the bank representatives, and I would write them a note, I'd follow up, I'd just do the things that I know how to do. And then finally one day somebody called me back, and her name was Elizabeth. And Elizabeth called me back and she said, "Hey Megan, it's Elizabeth. Do you remember me? I had this youth hostel for sale in Huntington Beach, and it was really complicated to show the house. There were kids, surf kids there from all over the world. And so I had to coordinate. I mean, there'd be like 30 to 40 people there at any given time. So I met everyone for the showings and personally toured them. And so Elizabeth was a realtor at the time, and she had met me there with her client. I think it was 3 times to take a look at the house. And she said, "Do you remember me? You met me at the house 3 times. You showed it with my client. And you're always so nice to me, and you always called me back and that sort of thing." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I do remember you, Elizabeth. How's it going?" She said, "Well, guess what? Now I work for the bank, and we've got some houses to sell." So you see what happened there? It's like you're nice to people, you follow through, you answer their requests, and you're kind to other people in your industry because you never ever know when something is going to come back to you. So Elizabeth gave me my first bank repo job, which was this was the hardest work I've ever done in my life. We ended up selling over the course of just a few years 250 bank repos. It was dangerous. I had a weapon pulled on me. I had to go to eviction court. I mean, it was not nice. It was terrible times. Worked 18 hours a day, but we made it. And I don't know what we would have done if we didn't have that connection. So just be nice to people and do your job. And remember that you work for the people. You know, people don't work for you. So you have to be humble and be kind and give people information. So if you have any questions, if you want to know any more about my story, shoot me a message and I will fill you in.